Hoof C, and this particular section that I took is again called a parasagittal section, meaning it's not at 50% through the middle of the hoof, it's taken at the side. And this will show you how thin that section is. So here's the side of the actual side of the hoof through there. Here's the toe. Well, it actually wouldn't be the toe, it'd be the toe quarter through there, because the toe would be somewhere out here. And it was very interesting that a lot of you made some comments, including me, about, oh my gosh, look at this bit here. Why is that so thick? And why is there all that redness through there? And there was a lot of discussion in the comments on Facebook about this. And I'm just going to zoom in and show you a little bit more about what we can see, and then I'm going to give you some more information about it. So what we're seeing here, this is the hoof wall, and this is the external layer of the hoof wall, and this is the internal layer. So it goes from the most water is in this part here, and it goes to the least amount of water through here. And this part here is called the non-pigmented layer. It has got a scientific name, but I'm not going to give that to you now because I think it just makes things a little bit more complicated. So here's the coronary band through here. And can you see these lines, these white lines? Now those white lines are the insensitive lamina. And what's the insensitive lamina? Well, they are attached to the hoof wall on the inside, and they're like lots and lots of folds. So what we're looking at is we're looking at it long ways on. And the insensitive lamina are called that because they don't have a blood supply and they don't have a nerve supply, thus insensitive. I suppose that means insensitive to pain, or I don't know, but that's where that name's come from, and it's stuck. But also what we've got here is we can actually see this red bit through here, and that's all completely normal. And we all thought, oh my gosh, there's all that red going through there. That shouldn't happen. There's laminitis, there's this, there's that, there's the other. And honestly, I really thought it looked a bit odd, and I said so in my video. But I've gone back and I've researched it more, and I've spoken to a top professor in the equine foot, Professor Christopher Pollitt, and I sent him a photograph of this exact same sample, and he very kindly came back to me and explained what I was seeing, and I'd like to share that with you. Now he explained that because of the way this has been cut, because we're parasagittal, meaning we're not straight down the middle, we're actually cutting almost a cone shape, and by doing that, what we're doing is we're actually cutting at an angle, oblique, with the cone, which means we're actually getting more tissue, and that's exactly what we're seeing. We're not seeing anything that's odd there, we're seeing something that's completely normal. And here we're actually seeing probably 12 lamellae through there. If you zoomed in and counted, 10 to 12 lamellae, and that's because we've cut it obliquely at an angle. Whereas if we had cut it right down the middle, a sagittal section, we might only see 1 lamellae because we're cutting straight through. And if you can imagine, those lamellae are running down like this. So if this was cut through the middle, you'd only see the one. But if we're doing it from the side, we're taking a completely different plane and a completely different view. So that was a very interesting conversation that I had with him, and I am absolutely thrilled that he took the time to respond to me with interest and has put me on the right track. Now the other thing he also mentioned, which was just as an aside on this sample, is the cartilages here, the lateral cartilages, which are showing up quite beautifully. And that's what this white bit is through here. And this is the blood supply that's actually going through those inguinal cartilages. So we're not, it's all a bit mashed up here, and that's probably the way that I've taken the specimen. But a lot of you had said, oh my gosh, what's this bit here? Are they the cartilages? Yes, they are. So this is the very last part, the very, the far right part of the coffin bone here. Here's the sole. Here's the bar through here. He also pointed out about this part here, but we can talk about that in another video. So the whole point of this is to explain to you, what did this actually mean? Was it laminitis? Christopher Pollitt has explained to me that in his opinion this was not laminitis, because the laminae were lined up in a normal presentation. So that was interesting to hear, wasn't it? And I'm so glad that he took the time to come back to me. Now the other thing is this is a really thick wall. If you look from there, from where the wall actually starts to there, let's just quickly measure. Yeah, it's 2 centimeters wide at that point, and yet up here it's probably not as wide. It's difficult for me to tell because there's a lot of tissue up through there. However, I thought that this was thicker, and I thought it was thicker because it was thick through here, and some others of you had commented that this was a thickness, and this thickness could have been due to a past history of laminitis. And I'm still not sure whether this is really thicker or not, and I'm still asking myself, is it thicker because of the way it's been cut, or is it truly thicker because we've got this bulge coming through here? Again, always apply critical thinking when you see these videos. Don't take it as gospel. We're learning together, and I just want to share my experience with you. So if you hear something that you're not sure about, or you want to ask me about something or challenge me about something I've said, then I absolutely welcome that. I truly do. I don't want you to just go away thinking that Lindsay Field is the expert in hoof anatomy. I'm not, but I'm learning. And yes, I'm going to be backtracking on things. I had a video where I said that something was thrush up through here, and a lot of followers said, actually that's not thrush, that's called seedy toe. Great. I really appreciate that, because if they hadn't taken the time to say that, I would never have known, and I could never have then produced another video to say this is actually seedy toe, and to show you the damage that it did inside the hoof. So again, I just want to encourage you to please feed back to me, and even if you just leave a comment to say that you love it, that really helps, because it keeps me going, and I know that you're listening and you're watching, and I'm not just talking to a black hole. So all the trimmers, the certified farriers, the qualified farriers out there, I hope that you are really enjoying this journey with me, and sure, I'm going to make a few mistakes, and sure, I'm going to say a few things that are wrong. And I would also encourage you guys to come back to me as well. Let's have an open, honest discussion about things, because I'm not an expert, and I just want to share my experiences with you of my study of the equine hoof. Thank you so much for listening. I really appreciate it.